Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, otters, chipmunks of the internet, welcome back to the JKWD podcast where we know that you're not actually an otter.
Anyway, hi there.
Yeah, Kelvin, Kelvin, how you doing, Kelvin?
I'm doing fine. I thought I'd call in some of those entities you were talking to and have them weigh in. Anyway, life is good, man. It's beautiful here today. I haven't checked the temperature, but hey, it looks good outside.
Good. Don't look at the weather for the next couple of days.
I've heard stories, but I'm not doing that. I bought a lawnmower the other day. This must be akin to buying a new snowblower. Maybe not, but
it's how you know you're going to have the driest winter that.
Yeah,
on the last
that would be it. But
half century, right?
Life is life's going okay, sir. I'm hanging in there. How about you?
Right. Yeah, we're hanging in. That's a good way to put it. We have ventured out of the house a little bit this week, not for anything fun, but the world is so weird out there. So weird. And I know this doesn't come out for another 10 days or so after we're recording. So who knows?
All over by then.
Yeah. Well, it's not going to be all over, but Georgia has been open for a couple of weeks, parts of it anyway. More and more of it are opening.
Mm-hmm.
So we actually have stuff opening today, and we'll find out how that went.
All right.
But we are, especially us here in Savannah, we're a city that relies a lot on tourism, and
oh yes,
I don't know that out of town tourism is coming back anytime soon. We'll see. We'll see, but I get the feeling it's going to be a while before at least our local economy kicks back up. But so it has been weird, and it's probably going to get weirder before it starts to get normal.
Yeah. I haven't, I tend to be one of those people who does just fine in oblivion, which is to say, I don't need the news 20 times a day. I'll check in once a week or so to see if there's any big chunks I need to consume, kind of thing.
Right.
But so I don't know. I know that the airlines were doing weird stuff. I'm guessing they're still flying.
Some of them.
But
not a lot of people wanting to fly. So
I think I can understand that.
Yeah.
So something about that tube, but recirculated air and stuff. But kind of that. But I foresee a time when we'll get back to relative normality with that. I did say I tell you I'm an optimist, right?
Right.
Got it. All right. Okay. Just checking.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, and you've been doing other crazy things too. You've been like running or something.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm running again. Committed to a half marathon and probably a 15K right after it. Right after, a month after it. So get me back in shape, because I feel like a couple of weeks ago I felt like I was at that turning point where I was either going to kind of get back into some semblance of shape and enjoy some running and do that for the second half or the second third of my life. I guess life expectancy is going to bounce soon, right? Bounce way up.
Yeah.
I know you're planning on 150 years.
Yeah, exactly.
So Yeah, or I was just gonna be that fat happy old guy. Um, so yeah, I decided at, at least we'll try getting back to running and healthy before
All
well
right.
we could. So it's actually felt pretty good. It's going very, very slowly, which is the way you're supposed to do it.
Mm-hmm.
But um, but yeah, it's yeah. All right, that's
Yeah.
about it.
Yeah.
I'm running again.
2.5
I'm
for
running again. And,
congratulations.
yeah, thanks.
Congratulations.
Um, and in a time when uh, I'm trying not to take anti-inflammatories, um, I'm tripling, quadrupling down on the turmeric, which is supposed to be good for joint pain. And I
Ah,
haven't had much.
yes.
I haven't had much joint pain. My elbow's been bothering me for months,
Mm-hmm.
um, and I've just been trying to um, get those muscles stronger without ruining the joint.
Mm-hmm.
So,
So where that
but
come from? I mean, just
just probably being heavy and doing pull-ups. Um,
pull-ups.
yeah,
Oh, you're one of those people.
I'm one of those guys.
Okay.
A lot of time I don't have it up there now because the door's closed. But a lot of
Right.
times I keep a pull-up door on the pull-up bar in the doorway, and if
Yeah.
I'm coming into a room, I do a
I think I
couple.
bought one of those once, and I looked at it for the longest time, and it was very inconvenient because when you hang clothes on it, you have to you have to actually move around them to get in a room and stuff. And it was just I just decided that was like way too much work, so
Yeah.
I took it down.
So there I had some of that going on, and but I've been not to push a product that isn't a sponsor, but I like this stuff. It's Laird Hamilton. He's a crazy person. He's a big wave surfer. Done a lot of made a lot of innovation
Hmm.
in surfing throughout his life, but he's like 50 something, and he carries dumbbells, like heavy dumbbells, down to the bottom of his pool, and does like walks around with them and does exercises underwater when he can't breathe. Um,
Really?
yeah, so he's got this turmeric and MCT and a creamer. It's non-dairy, so I think it's coconut
Uh
um,
huh.
and a coconut milk oil kind of stuff, and it's pretty tasty. Um,
Huh.
so I've been using this in my coffee,
So this
and I
stuff
like
makes
it.
it so you can breathe underwater.
I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't
Oh.
try that, but it's supposed to be alleviating joint pain, and I'm not taking Tylenol and Advil right now. I'm drinking this, and I'm running well heavy, and I'm not having knee problems yet.
Okay. Hang in
So
there.
I'll at least attribute some of that to this. We are brought to you today by Vitamin K Daily. Get your daily dose positive 5 days a week. Get yourself 4 weeks free by going to vitaminkdaily.com. After that, 9.5 cents a day. That's less than an hour of parking in most places a week.
Yes, it is. And I hear it's pretty good.
Hey, we're actually going to talk about a vitamin K today. So let's roll the music, shall we? Welcome to the Josh and Kelvin World Domination Podcast, where we talk about better humanhood and teach you how to dominate your world. You ready? Here we go.
Yes.
Kevin
Welcome
made a
back.
face there, so I wasn't sure if we were going to start talking again or if we had to.
Well, I'm feeling the need to clear my throat, and I don't really want to share that with the listening audience.
Oh, okay. Well, that's what the mute button is for.
Exactly. And I was looking for it so I could find it
Gotcha.
because I mean, I'm sure people like to hear my voice, but not that way. So yeah, good old vitamin K. I like that stuff.
Right. So, do you have the vitamin K from Wednesday, May 6th, 2020 called up, or shall
I
I?
do. I do.
Uh,
It's right here in front of me.
give that a little
Give
read
that you
along.
you, you want me to read that?
Yeah, give it a little read along so
It
that we
was
can.
short too. Oh,
Yeah, exactly.
all right. Well,
Which
good
is why we
morning,
don't.
Lou.
Which is why we don't have to break it. Yeah.
Okay, so here's the vitamin K. I was just thinking that you never know where your next opportunity is coming from or how it will be dressed when it shows up. We tend to think of opportunities as predictable, finite things, often dressed in a suit or other business attire that when it's ready, it will walk gingerly upon us and share with us her bounty in one fashion or another. However, my personal experience with opportunity is that she comes by running and you have to be ready to recognize her, be on your mark, and ready to lockstep as she's running by and be there for her to pass the baton so you can take it on the finish line, take it onto the finish line. So we need to be savvy and alert enough to recognize opportunity when she shows up because she doesn't always announce her presence or her intent. So do your homework, stay alert, be ready. Opportunity is often quiet and cunning and often likes to smile widely as she passes us by. Stay alert, be ready. Have a great day.
So,
Did I mess
sorry,
that up?
I had to find my unmute button.
See? Well, as any consolation, next time I'll help you if you. Next time I see that look on your face, I would just reach out and
Like
get it
I
for
know.
you.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right, because you can do that because you're the host of
Yes.
the game.
Yeah.
But yeah, so yeah, this struck me as something worth talking about.
All right.
Because we've said this before that while we're isolating and quarantining and whatever this thing is that we're doing, some people are out there having people who in 13 years will be quarantines. No, but while we're wallowing in our, I wish I do this. There's lots of stuff that you could be doing.
Mm-hmm.
We've said this. There are learning opportunities out there. Some of them free, some of them not free. You can be doing house projects right now. You can get materials. Hardware stores are open pretty much everywhere. Um, Contractors are allowed to work pretty much everywhere. I know that some people are struggling and not working, but
Mm-hmm.
yeah, by and large, I think that um, the opportunities there. Here's some stuff, but there have been so many new opportunities uh, available to you right now. Not the least of which would be to start a book idea, or at least take some classes on how to get a book written and
Mm-hmm.
published, and uh, do that. But also, think of some of the niches that are getting filled right now. We're seeing a lot of potential holes in in the way we operate.
Mm-hmm.
We have a business here in SavTakeout, and a lot of restaurants are doing just takeout and delivery,
Right.
and restaurants that didn't previously do delivery are not really hiring delivery drivers. But there's this service that was operating in a couple of neighborhoods, and now they've expanded greatly.
Mhm.
What they do is, they approach these restaurants. The restaurants say, "Go ahead, put my menu on your website. You charge 25 cents more, 50 cents more per dish,
Mhm.
or a $2.99, $3.99, whatever, $4.99, premium on
Mhm.
the whole order, and they'll pay you. You'll come pick it up and pay us what we get, and keep whatever you charge over our menu, and you deliver it.
Mhm.
So they've greatly expanded their operation. Um, I know Uber Eats was doing that, and nationally too.
I'm sorry. Who was it?
Uber Eats.
Oh, didn't know there was such a thing.
Yeah. Yep. So I mean, you can drive for them the same way you drive for Uber.
Mhm.
They say, "Hey, this person needs a food delivery in this neighborhood," so they'll go pick up the food and bring it
Yeah.
um, in their own vehicle, and there's that. So I mean, that's one sort of opportunity that I've seen
Mhm.
creeping up around town. Um, the other thing we're seeing right now is the value of remote work. There are a lot of offices that were always against working from home, letting their people work from home.
Mhm.
And now, after 6, 7, 8 weeks, a lot of those offices are finding out that they don't need to spend $5,000 a month renting space, and they can just, they want to pick up a portion or even all of, their employees' internet bills. Um, you kick in some for the phone bill. Even if you paid every employee an extra $150 a month,
Mhm.
um, is a long time before you catch up to that $5,000 a month that you're paying for your commercial lease. You can go find a co-working space to or a hotel conference room to meet in once a week or once a month or once every 2 weeks or whatever, for a lot cheaper than and so the not only will companies that can facilitate the remote work do
Mhm.
better, but the companies who can make kind of the offering common space to meet in infrequently.
Yeah.
That'll be
To
you
get
know
better, because I know we had a co-works here. When
yeah
when we get rid of this, what do you want to call this, social distancing thing? That'll be
yeah
anyway. And
and those co-working spaces have historically been used by freelancers, by
right.
solopreneurs, people who just want to get their butts out of the house and maybe not work at a coffee shop all day, but have a place to go so where they can see other people. Um,
Yep.
and now we might see those being used more by companies, just rather than pay a full rent. Well, if it's even if it's a monthly membership for its members, or just a twice a month conference rental.
Yeah. And there's opportunities out there. I mean, for that also, but um, things like Fiverr and Upworks are taking an uptick. Also,
Sure.
you it would seem kind of strange initially that you hire out over the internet to have somebody do some writing for you, or businesses like virtual assistants, where you've got this skill and this talent to organize and do things for people, that particularly for entrepreneurs who don't, well, somebody like me, for instance, that thinks he can do everything himself over and over and over and over. I have a new friend in our Toastmasters group who keeps looking at me every day. She sends me a message probably, once, twice a week saying, uh, you need a VA. You need a virtual assistant. Yes, I do. Well, we'll talk about that a little bit later. Yeah. As soon as I get rid of this control thing. Anyway, but, and you can do that from anywhere. You can do that from your house. Uh, and I've got a friend who just moved to Mexico for a year, who's a virtual assistant. So she's doing what she does in Mexico. In the meantime, she's still got her clients back here in the States, and she's not even in the country right now, physically. So,
heck, you can do it from your phone on the beach,
well, yeah,
depending on
for
what
me
you're
there'd be
doing.
distractions, but stuff like that. But yeah, so we have that kind of thing, and then a lot of the people who have here locally anyway, like we've got our local chamber of commerce locally, and the people who have relied solely for so long on face-to-face communications, and we can't have that anymore, have learned that you can exude your personality and your service and your value over Zoom, which
Mhm.
I'm sorry, I'm not getting any money from Zoom, but let me tell you, that's one of the most economical ways to do contact on the planet. I'm totally amazed at these people.
We've done virtually every episode of this podcast on Zoom. We've had a couple that we were in person for, but
Yeah.
and
And
anytime we've had an interview, that's been on Zoom.
oh yeah. So we've
Um,
been interviewing people in other countries
yeah, and
and stuff.
we've been since this social isolation started. We've been hosting dinners
We have.
over Zoom. Just
I've made a couple of them. Now I will say I'm actually still missing the home cooking from your place. So when we get the transporter ready,
that's right.
you got to cook another steak because or maybe next time I come to Savannah. Uh, but that's all that kind of thing. So there's a lot of opportunities out there, and you did mention the education opportunities. So there's so many ways to get educated on things these days. Uh, some of them were there, and and some of them have just gotten expanded. I mean, I'm in a Toastmasters group, so we used to do our speech contests uh, in person. You get all these people together, and you line them up, and you have all these briefings, and it's wonderful. We can sit down, we can clap, but we've been able to do those speech contests via Zoom. We've had them at the divisional and district levels coming up, and it's a little bit of a learning curve, but it's not exorbitant. It's just thinking of how to do something in a new way. And we've been able to do that and keep the Toastmasters group going, because had it not been for Zoom, we wouldn't have had anywhere to meet. So
Yeah,
you have opportunities for things like that, and opportunities for connection.
yeah, and you miss some things like immediate feedback, and it's a slight delay. Just being the
Yes.
internet. Um, but as a speech giver, you can still put everybody up on your screen looking at you.
Oh yeah.
So that you can see them and you can see their reaction to you, and it comes as maybe a half second delay, and
And
maybe it affects your cadence a little bit, but you learn to work around it.
we had an interesting experience at our last meeting. Our last two meetings, really, we generally say the pledge to the flag before, at the beginning of our meeting. And when you have people separated, and right now we have people joining in on a club who are in other states right now. So when you get together and you try to do the pledge to the flag with, 30 people in different locations.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a very interesting thing. However, we muddle through it. We're going to get it
Yeah,
right
yeah.
before
No,
it's over.
nothing also synchronized, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And then when the delays and stuff, because you never know what they are until you get started. But at
Right.
any rate, we have those things, and I mean, the possibilities are endless, really.
Yeah, the other thing that a couple other places for opportunity right now. Homeschooling,
Oh yeah.
because all of a sudden, um, all of a sudden, almost every child in the U.S. became homeschooled,
Mm-hmm.
even if they're doing lessons online. Uh, but beyond that, they become homeschooled while their parents are working. Um, and then, this is something that I think we talked about a long time ago, but um, a lot more people enter the creative class when most people are home.
Right.
You know, we're finding out what jobs can be automated, what jobs we don't have to have people present for,
Mm-hmm.
and we're finding out what can be done remotely. And does remote work show us how much of your day is actually spent working, how much of your workday?
Right.
Um, if you figure out that you can do laundry uh, while you're while you're working, does that mean that 8 hours in the office is 8 hours of work? 8 hours in the office is probably 3 to 5 hours of work,
Mm-hmm.
depending on your day. Uh, you don't have to you don't spend as much time listening to people tell you about their home lives. Your coworkers aren't dropping by your cubicle for a chat.
Right.
Uh, you find out how much of your day was actually work.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And with that, you might say, oh, well, I need to be logged in for 8 hours, but maybe I can spend a couple hours coming up with other ideas.
Mm-hmm.
um, or maybe you can take some of that time to figure out why the systems back at the office are so skewed that way, or so unproductive. um,
Yeah. And there's a lot of that. I think there's a lot of that going on all over the place. So a lot of the people, my daughter, for instance, is has actually, my daughter's like a lot of stuff right now. But she's a real estate agent, and she's getting her certification for being a yoga instructor, both of which she has had to learn via Zoom and such like that, where you would previously go to a classroom somewhere, be in person, but everybody is figuring out how to move almost everything to a virtual platform. And the thing
yeah,
is, we look at it and you say, I really am a people person. I need to be in contact with people. And I like people as much as more than most. I'm definitely a social guy. However, um, I I bring my 3D in with me, and I'm seeing you over there, and I know you. We had a relationship before. Well, I don't get to shake your hand. We don't get to actually, clap our glasses when we're going to have a beer or something. But the relationship I had with you in person feeds over into this. So, whereas maybe when somebody you just meet, you have to develop a little of that. You have to
sure.
develop that rapport and so forth. But it's doable. I've been talking to people for years, um, great friends that I met on Twitter and Facebook and stuff like that. That I last fall, a friend of mine who I'd known for probably 10 years, that we finally just got to meet in person in October when she came to New York State. So, you can still develop relationships like that. So a lot of people who are who need the social interaction,
Yeah,
if you
we're
can't
so
be
good.
there in person, you don't have a transporter.
This is the next
the
best
next
thing,
best thing.
right? Yeah, I mean, for as bad as it feels sometimes, this is the best time so far for something like this to happen.
Oh yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
you know,
I'm not making
you
nobody
can.
sick anytime I pull this bub up. I'm not.
That's right. And you're not putting yourself at risk either. I, you do miss some things. Like I'm sure your daughter, in taking her yoga instruction certification, if part of that is making sure she has poses right, people can't physically move her in correction.
Correct.
Right. They have to tell her. And similarly, if she decides to teach online,
Right.
um, if she sees a student doing a pose incorrectly, she needs to be able to instruct
Correct.
that student how to move their bodies into the correct position, rather than being able to
Right.
move over, walk over, and make the adjustment for them.
So there's a hidden opportunity because you have to refine your communication process. You kind of have to get in
Right.
head. So
Right. Well, and you have to understand, and I mean that way you understand it. If you can explain to somebody,
exactly.
especially in plain language, because you can't. Um, some people you can't name the muscles and joints and expect them to know which ones you're talking about.
True enough.
Um,
But there's show and tell. So
and like my daughter's been doing physical therapy
Mhm.
virtually for much of this quarantining period,
Mhm.
and it can get on the one hand, some of the difficulty comes from um, us being my wife and I having to uh, handle the, hey, align our hips better, or
Mhm.
just see, just doing that, taking that instruction for this stuff. But on the other hand, the phone, is, for whatever reason, the platform uh, is more stable on a phone than it is on a computer.
Mhm.
The platform we're using for that. The phone is itself a reward as a
Mhm.
screen. So, I don't have to hold the video in one hand, so that the instructor can see and try to manipulate her with the other hand while holding a reward.
Right.
Um, I can, she'll, my daughter will come for the phone.
Uh-huh.
Will reach for the screen, uh, rather than needing to put a toy or a fruit
Ah,
snack or something.
yeah. Cool.
Uh, yeah. So I mean, those opportunities are out there, and there are a lot of telemedicine platforms coming online, or getting more secure, and there's another spot for you. I'm sure that if you wanted to learn to code, now's a fine time. Um, but this is an opportunity flying by, right? Yeah.
Yes, it's an opportunity to find advice. Sometimes, I mean, you have to. All of this stuff is facilitated by taking the time to sit and think and evaluate what's going on and get outside your normal box.
Right.
Technically, it's the same skill you would need if we weren't having a pandemic and you wanted to grow your business. You need to sit and evaluate how to do that. What are the possible ways? And as you look for that, some things come up. But if you've never taken the time to evaluate it, to look at it, to even ask the question, your mind's had no reason to help you come up with something.
Right.
So um, I I had been using Zoom for 3 years and never realized I could do the things I've learned to do in the last 3 months with Zoom. And I'm like, I feel like such an idiot. I could have been doing all this other stuff
Yeah.
that way. So it's good. And there's a lot of stuff out there, but you got to think about it.
And so we open this podcast by talking about opportunity running by, not announcing herself, not
Mhm.
declaring her intention. So what it comes down to is, will you recognize that when it comes, when there's not a knock on the door, when there's not an invitation to sit down at tea and have the discussion,
Mm-hmm.
When it's, oh, hey, that's opportunity, let me go catch up.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So, and not for nothing, you could always pretend something is an opportunity and just work on figuring out what it is.
That's true.
That's a wonderful what if game. What if we don't play what if near enough as grown-ups. What if, but whenever, even if it's something you look like you can't use, if you ask yourself the question, because what does that say? The mind answers a question you ask it. Be sure you ask it the right question. How can I use this? And listen. And say it like you mean it. Say it like you mean it. How can I use this to help me out? So that's me.
So wisdom like this and discussion starters for just 9.5 cents a day after a 4-week free trial. VitaminKDaily.com. Get your daily dose of positive. Hey, and we didn't talk about it up front, but if you want 10% off some delicious bone broths and soup, you can go visit our friends at Kettle and Fire and use code. Go to kettleandfire.com. Use code BetterHumanhood when you check out. They'll give you 10% off. jkwdpodcast.com for show notes for this and all our other episodes, and we will see you next time.
Bye-bye.
Hey, thanks for listening. Show notes and more at jkwdpodcast.com. Don't forget to subscribe, leave a review, and share with your friends, and we will see you next week. Bye. A Better Humanhood production.